Welcome to the Geek Addict. This is a review of Star Wars The High Republic, A Test of Courage. Star Wars The High Republic, A Test of Courage was written by New York Times Bestselling Author Justina Ireland. Now, this is a young reader's book published by Disney-Lucasfilm Press. Thank you, Disney-Lucasfilm Press, for sending out this copy for me to review. Now, it is important to know that this is going to be the second book released within the High Republic era. It might be important to read Light of the Jedi first, as some of the events that happen in that book are mentioned in this book. So, let's go ahead and dive into a brief summary. A few members of the Nihil, which are the villains in the High Republic era, you can learn a lot about them in the adult novel Light of the Jedi. Now, a few of these members are at Port Hallett with a plan to infiltrate a luxury liner ship, the Steady Wing. They want to cause chaos in the galaxy, to instill fear within the Republic, and most importantly, to make a name for themselves and impress one of their bosses, or the Tempest Runners, as the Nihil call their leadership. There are many people aboard the Steady Wing, and they're all headed to the Starlight Beacon. Now, the Starlight Beacon is something mentioned a lot in Light of the Jedi. I highly recommend that you read that book first before reading A Test of Courage. Now, the Starlight Beacon is basically an embassy to the Republic. It's in the Outer Rim area. It's got a Jedi temple there. They've got medical services. If you're lost, they can help you find your way. Pretty cool thing. So all these people are on their way to the Starlight Beacon's opening ceremony. Now, when the Nihil's plans for the Steady Wing come to fruition, a young group of survivors find themselves alone on a moon far off from the well-known space lanes. The group consists of two young Jedi, the son of an ambassador and the daughter of a senator with a familiar name that we have heard a lot about in the Star Wars comics later on down the road in the time period of The Empire Strikes Back. The group must figure out a way to survive on the moon and somehow figure out a way to call out among the stars to see if someone can come and rescue them. So, will the youth survive? Will the young Jedi stray from their path and give in to fear? What more does the Nihil have planned? You'll have to read this book to find out. Now let's talk about characters. I'm going to pick two. I'm going to talk about the one that I found most interesting and the one that I was actually most annoyed by. First, the one that I found the most interesting, Vernestra Rwoh. Now, she is a green-skinned Mirrorland. She's a prodigy within the Jedi Order, passing the Jedi trials at just the age of 15, which makes her one of the youngest Jedi Knights around. She's not too thrilled with her first mission as a Jedi Knight, spending all her time on the planet Dalna as sort of a babysitter, watching out for a senator's daughter, making sure that she's safe. She'd rather be doing something a little bit more productive. She's a little unsure of herself, but she is very skilled with a lightsaber. She's young for a Jedi Knight and must face some very difficult decisions when she's thrust into an unexpected disaster. And now for the character that I found very annoying, Honesty Weft. He's the son of an ambassador on Dalna. Honesty does not want to be on the Steady Wing. He does not want to have anything to do with politics. He'd much rather be back home finding out what vocation would suit him best. He'd really like to be a warrior to join the Dalna military, even though they haven't seen any war in centuries. But his father really wants Honesty to be there with him to witness diplomacy firsthand as they attempt to join the Republic. Now, Honesty is a very emotional young man who cries all the time about everything. He's a big crybaby. So now for my overall thoughts. This book was fine. It's a young reader story, and for some reason I find young reader books pretty tedious. Now the story isn't bad at all, it's just very simple and straightforward. The book definitely has a mature theme with a lot of death and some violent moments. For a kid's story, I'd think if it were a film, it would still be PG-13. Now, there are some very, like I said, mature, dark moments in this story. The characters were written okay. Now, I only found two characters interesting. The others I could have done without. The idea that one of the young Jedi is a prodigy was a little bit silly. I think the story would have been a little bit more interesting if the cast consisted of not one Padawan, but two or three. Leave out the politicians' kids and get rid of the whole, young prodigy Jedi Knight. The Nihil didn't really seem too intimidating in this book, and of course they did some dark deeds, but they were just kind of dumb, and I think that's most likely due to the fact that this is a young reader book. But then again, the book, it was packed with a lot of death and other dark, mature moments, so I don't know. The dialogue was well written. Some of the plot points I found very interesting, especially when it started talking about the lore between the Jedi and the conflict with the Sith. Very cool stuff there. But overall, the book was not bad, but it wasn't great. It was fine. It was good. It was fine. So do I recommend that you pick up and read Star Wars The High Republic, A Test of Courage? If you're a completist, I would say yes. If you could care less about young reader books, then I think you'll do fine by skipping this one. So for the rating, I will give this a B-. Like I said, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. If you would like to purchase this book, I have provided a link down in the description box below. Remember to check me out at thegeeksaddict.com and across all social media at thegeeksaddict. Have a good one.